Pensacola, 102.5 The Party, newspaper and education, and the News Channel 5 network.
Tonight, here we go, the first major showdown of Campaign 04. The Democrats battle for Iowa. Who will be left standing? In Iraq, angry demands for quick elections. Can the UN convince Iraqis to be patient? 35 years after the King assassination, segregation's back in many schools. The inside story tonight, and Eye on America, from scholarship student to a long prison term. Teen sex and terrible consequences.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening, and hang on because it looks like we're in for an exciting and possibly important night in the kickoff battle for the Democratic presidential nomination. As the complicated caucus process begins in Iowa, 4 candidates appear to be in a dead heat: Dean, Gephardt, Kerry, and surprisingly Edwards. Any one of them could come out on top. All are looking for the momentum they'd gain with a win or a strong showing in the Hawkeye state. We have a team of CBS News correspondents ready to bring you the latest news and analysis as we start down the 2004 presidential campaign trail. We begin in Des Moines, Iowa, with Byron Pitts. Byron?
Well, Dan, caucus organizers expect a record turnout this evening for one of the toughest campaigns ever in the state of Iowa.
The organization is all about getting your vote out.
It's come down to 4 campaigns, 4 men fighting for a win in Iowa.
You think you're going to win tonight, Governor?
I think so. I do. Sorry.
For Howard Dean, it's up to his formidable organization to pull out in the end what a week ago seemed like a foregone conclusion. As he slipped in the polls, questions resurfaced about his temperament.
What do you need to make you satisfied? Megan, we'd like to win. We'd like to win. Okay.
It was the edgy Dr. Dean who attended a Martin Luther King Jr. event this morning, then left abruptly, blaming the media for disrupting the program.
Because you guys behave so badly, you got to get a new life.
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. We're going to win, but you guys have got to behave yourself out of respect for Dr. King.
At the moment, it's the Kerry campaign that's closing in fast.
I know we're all really disappointed that John can't be here today.
The Massachusetts senator took much of the day off to rest his voice, strained by a weekend of nonstop campaigning. He's gained the most ground in these closing days.
Be praying for you tonight.
Thank you so much.
Along with North Carolina Senator John Edwards. Edwards has been Iowa's biggest surprise thus far. He stayed positive when others went negative and promised to return the South to the Democratic Party. And then there's Dick Gephardt. Despite passionate labor support, his ride to the White House may be over unless he has a strong finish tonight. It has been a race like no other in the history of the Iowa caucus. The Democratic candidates have spent a total of 467 days in Iowa. From Deanie babies to union workers, more than 7,000 campaign volunteers statewide. In all those TV ads that have saturated the airways here, the bill over $10 million, making this the most expensive Iowa caucus ever.
We'll know how Iowans react to all that time and money later this evening. Dan?
Byron Pitts in Des Moines, thanks. So, what will determine who comes out on top tonight? CBS News correspondent Bob Schieffer is just back from Iowa and joins us now from Washington with the real deal. Bob, do or do not the polls give us a true idea of what's going on in Iowa?
Hey, you know, Dan, I think when it's as close as this one is, polls cannot tell you winners, but they can show you trends, and clearly Kerry and Edwards are trending up. Dean has lost some ground. Frankly, if this were a primary state and people just went to the polls and voted, I would have no problem predicting one of those 2 men would win tonight because they're the ones who've been drawing these big crowds these last days. It's at their rallies that we see this real electricity, but this is not a primary, and that's what we have to remember. It's a caucus, and so much depends on a candidate getting his people to the caucus sites, and the question is, do Kerry and Edwards have the organizations they're going to need to get those people to the caucuses tonight? It's also why you cannot count out Dean and Gephardt. They do have the best organizations. They have more foot soldiers on the ground in Iowa. That is absolutely crucial.
Bob, away from the horse race for just a moment, what is the most important issue for Iowa's Democrats?
You know, Dan, I think while I was out there, it has come down to this one thing to the people in Iowa: who can beat George Bush? I think that's a big part of the reason for this late surge by Kerry and Edwards. The voters like Kerry's war record. They think you compare it to George Bush's war record. They see Edwards as a Southerner who can take the president on where he is strongest, and that is down south.
Bob Schieffer in Washington, thanks. After Iowa, it's on to New Hampshire for the kickoff primary. No caucusing there. It's a straight-up public vote 1 week from tomorrow. CBS's Jim Axelrod is in New Hampshire, where he reports one candidate had the state to himself today.
That's right. When the only candidate here is the guy running fifth, and he's looking at more cameras than voters.
Are there any customers here? Are there any voters here?
It's safe to say New Hampshire is not the center of the political universe. At least not today. But check back this time tomorrow. By then, Iowa survivors will be here in a very fluid New Hampshire for round two. John Kerry is surging here as well, nearly doubling his numbers in the last week, while frontrunner Howard Dean is heading the other way. Wes Clark is still second, a point ahead of Kerry, while 15% remain undecided. Clark's strong anti-war message has resonated with the state's Democrats, well left of center as a group.
I won't get us in a mess like Iraq again. That's my promise.
His strategy not to fight in Iowa has provided him, his record, and his four-star resume an undiluted spotlight.
I think John Kerry, by spending so much time in Iowa, has left his northern New England flank open, and I think General Clark may be ready to drive a couple of Abrams tanks right through that opening.
Do what's right for America.
But while the others have been gone, they've spent a record $6.5 million on TV, hoping not to be forgotten. Tomorrow morning, they're back on the ground here, and in a sense, starting over.
An Iowa bounce tends to last for about 2 or 3 days. It's like a spring snowstorm. After a couple of days, it melts.
You don't have to win the New Hampshire primary to be president, but it sure helps. Only twice in the last 13 presidential elections has the eventual winner not won his party's primary here first, which is why they say here that in Iowa, they pick corn. In New Hampshire, they pick presidents. Dan?
Jim Axelrod in Bedford, New Hampshire. Again, for a moment, away from the polls, the strategies, and the process, the number one issue among Democrats in New Hampshire appears to be electability. Who has the best chance against President Bush? Another one of the key issues of Campaign 04, not just in New Hampshire, but across the country, is, of course, Iraq. The civilian toll from yesterday's suicide bombing in Baghdad has jumped up sharply. Iraqi authorities now say 31 were killed by the powerful truck bomb at the gate to U.S. headquarters, with more than 120 others wounded. Also today in Baghdad, a huge demonstration calling for quick elections for a new Iraqi government. But as CBS News White House correspondent John Roberts reports, that is just what the United States hopes to avoid.
Iraq's Shiite majority has been quick to exploit their newfound power of political protest, demanding President Bush give them the democracy he pledged.
We want his promise. We want his word. We want election, not appointment.
The movement, led by the Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, threatens to derail President Bush's plans to hand power to an appointed interim government by June 30th. So the coalition today turned to the United Nations, the body it once shunned for rescue.
We think it's important for the UN to re-engage in the process of the democratization of Iraq.
The coalition is asking the UN to send a team to Iraq in hopes it will determine elections are impossible right now and convince Sistani to drop his resistance. While the UN is still irked it wasn't consulted on the U.S. plan, the Secretary General today conceded it may be the only way to put Iraq on the path to democracy.
If we get it wrong at this stage, it will be even more difficult, and we may not even get to the next stage.
Sources say the Secretary General is eager to help, but after the carnage of last summer's attack on UN headquarters is demanding security assurances first. Yesterday's suicide bombing outside coalition headquarters only seemed to underscore the UN's worst fears.
There is a security problem in Iraq, and I don't think anybody says there isn't one. What I have said is that we will do everything humanly possible to provide all the protection the UN needs if it decides to send people back.
Coalition leaders have been sending signals to Sistani, publicly stating that they are willing to be flexible. But UN officials warn tonight, even if they do go back, no one can say if Sistani will be willing to compromise or even listen. Dan?
John Roberts reporting live from the White House. Thanks, John. This was homecoming day for more American troops who spent nearly a year in Iraq. About 200 paratroopers of the Army's 82nd Airborne Division arrived at an air base near their home base, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. About 6,000 more will follow soon. Now, with your permission, a personal note about the importance of getting an examination for skin cancer. A recent examination of my skin detected several basal cell carcinomas, a very common and highly treatable form of skin cancer. The cells on my face and nose were removed during my recent absence from this broadcast. The healing process continues. A full recovery is expected, but it remains a humbling learning experience. So I thank you for your understanding and concern and urge you to get a skin cancer examination. Coming up next here on the CBS Evening News, are America's schools really desegregated, at least compared with, say, the 1960s? New information about race and schools in tonight's Inside Story. Later, there aren't many voters in this small town, but boy, do they have influence. We'll give you a look at why.
This is an amazing age.
This is an amazing age.
We learn something new every day.
You're living in the age of Fosamax, when it's actually possible to help reverse bone loss and strengthen bone. Fosamax Once Weekly is a hormone-free tablet for postmenopausal women at risk for or with osteoporosis. Fosamax is clinically proven to help reverse bone loss. Increases in bone mass were seen as early as 3 months. You should not use Fosamax if you have certain disorders of the esophagus, are unable to stand or sit upright for 30 minutes, have severe kidney disease, or low blood calcium. Before use, talk to your doctor if you have stomach or digestive problems. Stop taking Fosamax and tell your doctor if you develop new or worsening heartburn, difficult or painful swallowing, or chest pain, because these may be signs of serious upper digestive problems.
One pill a week can help reverse bone loss.
Ask your doctor if Fosamax Once Weekly is right for you. This is the age of Fosamax.
This is an amazing age.
Helping reverse bone loss.
When is cereal more than just breakfast? When it's grape nuts or shredded wheat. They have a healthy whole grain crunch that may help reduce your risk of heart disease. So start your day the Heart Smart way. 2 healthy classics from Post. They're anything but ordinary.
Sorry, I was driving too fast.
No, my fault.
You must be gelling.
Like Magellan.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are so soft, they make any shoe feel outrageously comfortable. Are you gelling? Dr. Scholl's.
Ask your doctor if Lipitor is right for you.
Grandpa, how come you're always chugging Metamucil?
So it won't get thick and gritty.
Mommy doesn't chug.
I found an easier way to take fiber. Betafiber. It never gets thick like Metamucil can. It's taste-free, too.
Smart mommy.
Betafiber. The choice is clear. Harry is a scratcher who keeps getting scratched. Harry, you need the clear solution to a healthier scalp. New Maximum Strength Scalpicin. Now with vitamin E. Not a shampoo. Scalpicin works fast to stop unhealthy scratching that can cause scalp damage with the itch medicine dermatologists recommend. Ah, the all-day confidence of a healthy, itch-free scalp. New Maximum Strength Scalpicin, the clear solution to a healthier scalp.
This day was a national holiday in the United States honoring the late Reverend Martin Luther King, Jr. At King's historic Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, Coretta Scott King recalled her slain husband's dedication to nonviolence. At annual ceremonies in Philadelphia, actress Cissy Tyson rang the Liberty Bell, and across the country there were parades, marches, and speeches saluting Dr. King's enduring legacy. Even though most of Dr. King's civil rights achievements have endured and in many cases even grown since his assassination in 1968, there is new evidence that at least one ironic exception is developing. Segregation has reemerged in some of America's public schools. Correspondent Bob McNamara has the inside story.
If equality in everything education was the dream of school desegregation 50 years ago,
The Harvard study says that schools are almost as segregated today as they were when Martin Luther King was assassinated.
It's leading us towards fragmentation, dangerous fragmentation of our society, the sort of thing that Martin Luther King worried about.
Still chiseled in the American memory is the 1957 battle over the integration of Little Rock, Arkansas's Central High School. But the kind of civil rights drama it took to enroll 9 black students and the racial progress made since then has waned.
We've kind of let things slide, and we've also dropped the ball in a number of ways.
The study shows that in the South, integration rates rose from 0 in the 1950s to 43% by the 80s, only to begin a long slide backwards as the new century began. Today, Dallas is typical of many Western school districts, where a huge influx of Hispanics has made them the majority. And despite a declaration last year that Dallas public schools were no longer segregated, blacks still find themselves a minority and isolated.
They say they can do a better job without the oversight, so we want to see what happens there.
To the city's embarrassment, battles over racial representation on the Dallas School Board once erupted into boardroom brawls. And the lack of racial progress has troubled Southern Methodist University professor Glenn Linden.
We are like Iraq. We are a society of 3 or 4 different groups, with blacks and browns and whites who don't like each other and don't know each other.
Asian students, researchers say, are the most integrated ethnic group in the country. Yet nationwide, they are but a fraction of those considered still separate and still unequal today. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Dallas.
Coming up next here on the CBS Evening News, not guilty of rape. That's what the jury said. So why is a top student and star athlete serving 10 years? Eye on America investigates.
With her CVS Extra Care card, Jamie earns a little money back every time she shops. It adds up. Smart move, Jamie.
Whoa, what is this?
With the CVS Extra Care card, Jim earns extra bucks every time he shops. They're as good as cash at any CVS.
Did you put that there? Well, now it's mine.
Wouldn't it be nice if more things in life were soft and comfortable? Now they can be with Dulcolac Stool Softener. Its gentle formula doesn't make you go. It makes it more comfortable to go. Dulcolac Stool Softener. Make yourself comfortable.
Raise your hand, you got it. Raise your hand.
Sure Unscented. It's the #1 selling unscented antiperspirant. Get outstanding odor and wetness protection minus the heavy scent.
Raise your hand if you're sure.
These guys, like family. So when I learned 1 in 3 men faces prostate problems,
he had to switch to One-A-Day Men's.
One-A-Day Men's Health Formula, a complete multivitamin plus lycopene, which Harvard studies have linked to prostate health.
gotta watch out for my guys.
One-A-Day Men's.
You see an old railroad line. At Franklin Templeton, our Mutual Series managers saw a chance to invest in an undervalued railroad, whose unused land helped it also become a successful real estate developer. Uncovering hidden value to build strong returns for our fund shareholders requires a unique perspective, one that's made Mutual Series a leader in value investing. Franklin Templeton Investments. Gain from our perspective.
The experts at Hotels.com know exactly how close all the places are to where you want to stay. All at the best price. Hotels.com. Best prices, best places, guaranteed.
Checked your energy bill lately? Heating oil and natural gas prices are way up. So what's behind the price hikes? The inside story tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
This Wednesday, the Georgia State Supreme Court will hear a last-ditch appeal from a former high school football star a nearly straight-A student, sent to prison in what some critics call a miscarriage of justice. And as CBS's Mika Brzezinski reports in tonight's Eye on America, those critics include members of the jury that convicted him.
Marcus Dixon led his whole life to avoid a place like this. Just a year ago, he was at the top of his class in Rome, Georgia, an A student on his way to Vanderbilt University on a football scholarship.
I just lost everything I had, just everything.
How would you describe what happened?
Consensual sex between me and another classmate, and now I'm serving 10 years.
That classmate, who is white and was just shy of 16, accused Marcus, who was 18, of rape. Her story did not convince Kathy Tippett or Robert Williamson, two members of a nearly all-white jury that acquitted Dixon of forcible rape charges and ruled the sex consensual.
The pictures and her testimony, nothing added up to a rape, a forcible rape.
Marcus needs to come home.
But the prosecution had added another charge, aggravated child molestation, a sexual predator law that applies when a child is injured during an immoral or indecent act. The jury was told they could consider the girl's loss of virginity an injury.
He knows he's committed a sin, but he hasn't committed a crime.
Ken and Perry Jones are Marcus Dixon's adoptive parents. Ken coached Marcus in Little League when the 9-year-old asked to come home with him.
He wanted a mom and dad at home. He had a grandmom and a granddaddy, but he wanted a mom and dad.
They'll never forget the night when police ordered them to turn their son in.
That was the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
What have you said to Marcus about the decisions he made that day?
When he told me that, that she was a white girl, and I just sat down and started crying because I knew what they was going to do to him. Ma'am?
District Attorney Lee Patterson refused to speak with us, but has insisted that race was not a factor. The jury insists that Patterson mishandled the Dixon case.
This charge was misapplied to Marcus. I mean, it's not meant for an 18-year-old having consensual sex.
They thought aggravated child molestation was just a misdemeanor, not a felony, and believed Marcus Dixon would be set free.
I can honestly say and talk for the other 10 jurors that we had no intention of sending him to prison for 10 years.
We were sure he would go home that day.
It's a mistake you have to live with every day. Every day.
Did you have any idea that you were possibly breaking the law?
I had no idea at all. I was not thinking about breaking any laws.
Marcus Dixon has spent almost a year in prison. His appeal this week before the Georgia Supreme Court is his last chance at freedom for a decade. In Rome, Georgia, I'm Mika Brzezinski for Eye on America.
On the CBS Health Watch, there's a new discovery about Alzheimer's disease. Results of a 5-year study indicate that high daily doses of vitamins C and E taken together can help reduce the risk of Alzheimer's among the elderly. To be effective, the doses must be taken in supplement form, not as part of a lower dose multivitamin. Still ahead here on the CBS Evening News, Indianola, Iowa is just a small town. But whether you approve it or not, it may be one of the most important stops on the whole presidential campaign trail. You'll see why next.
No matter what your style, if you need mild bladder protection, Serenity has it all. Introducing Serenity's Dry Active line. 3 sizes to fit your needs. All are thin and discreet, with superior absorbency and powerful odor control. New Serenity Dry Active line from Tena. Forget your worries, not your style.
A change might be all you need to stay in a game. If what you're doing now isn't working, do what I did. Talk to your doctor about Levitra.
Ask your doctor if a free sample is right for you. Levitra, stay in the game.
Whatever you may do, I just want to be there with you. Oh, baby.
Fix-It and Complete forms a bond so strong it's clinically tested to help seal out tough food particles like seeds. Fix-It and Complete and forget it.
When is cereal more than just breakfast? When it's grape nuts or shredded wheat.
They have a healthy whole grain crunch that may help reduce your risk of heart disease. So start your day the Heart Smart way. 2 healthy classics from Post. They're anything but ordinary.
Sorry, I was driving too fast.
No, my fault.
You must be gelling.
Like Magellan.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are so soft, they make any shoe feel outrageously comfortable. Are you gelling? Dr. Scholl's.
A few years ago, I get this pain. It's no big whoop, just a little heartburn. Yeah, a burning, piercing fireball right here. So I cut down on the foods that bother me. I change my diet. I work out. Even my mom tries to help.
Son, try sleeping on an incline.
So I slipped some 2x4s under my bed. Oh yeah, my wife really loved that one. Then I started drinking that chalky stuff, popping acid reducers, and it all helped, but the pain keeps coming back 2-3 days a week. Okay, finally visit my doctor. He says it's acid reflux disease and prescribes Prevacid to help prevent the acid and heal the damage. So I take it like he says, and guess what? It really helps stop the acid pain. How's that for a happy ending?
Prescription Prevacid actually helps prevent acid where it starts by turning off many of the pumps that produce it. Prevacid has a low occurrence of side effects such as diarrhea, abdominal pain, and nausea. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. Ask your doctor for more information and if Prevacid is right for you. Help prevent the acid with Prevacid.
In hours, the first lottery scratch-off game will be sold in Tennessee. What will the earlier than expected start mean for scholarships? The story at 6.
Most campaigning for president is, as you know, done via television. Few voters ever come face-to-face with a candidate. Not so in Iowa. CBS's Cynthia Bowers reports from a town where presidential politics is personal and voters take their role very seriously.
It doesn't look much like a tourist town, but every 4 years, Indianola, Iowa becomes the in spot for one very select group of visitors.
If you stand on one street corner in Indianola, sooner or later every candidate walks by.
It's only got a few thousand registered voters, but because it's the closest telegenic small town to the Des Moines airport, it may be the most politically powerful small town in the country.
Where else but in Indianola can you walk in and have 4 different people running for the President of the United States sitting in one cafe talking to 5 or 6 people?
Take Ray's Barbershop on the square. 4 years ago, a campaigning Texas governor stopped in for a quick clip here.
So have you guys seen it all here in Indianola?
Just about, yeah. It always seems like it always ends up in the barbershops, anything to do with politics.
Presidential wannabes have been currying favor with Iowa and especially Indianola voters for more than a year now.
And they bring you into their homes and they grill you and they kind of test your character. And I like that.
Far from apologizing for all the attention, people in towns like Indianola view themselves as political gatekeepers who help weed out the chaff, if you will, and provide perhaps the perfect forum for potential contenders to hone their pitches.
I don't think we're out to get anybody, but by golly, we want to know what's going on there and how they feel about this or that, this issue or that issue, and don't hesitate to ask either, by golly.
Mayor Jerry Kelly says a candidate who survives Indianola is like steel forged by fire.
This will make him a better candidate if he becomes the candidate. And if it turns out that he is not the candidate, this will also demonstrate why he shouldn't be. And that's okay.
It's a role they relish here, if only for a brief moment, every 4 years. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, Indianola, Iowa.
And that's part of our world tonight. Stay with CBS News and this CBS station for the latest on the Iowa caucuses. When news breaks out, we'll break in. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. Thank you for joining us. See you as we go.
For news 24 hours a day, click on CBSNews.com. Brought to you in part by Walmart. Saving you and your family time and money with everyday low prices. What's behind those higher energy bills? See the inside story tomorrow. Experience CBS News.
Straight ahead on News Channel 5 at 6, in just a few short hours, Tennesseans will make history. The state lottery will begin. We'll have a live report on whether the stores are ready for lottery customers.
Then they were hoping this would be the last place they'd call home. Coming up, why dozens of elderly residents are having to find a new place to live.
And it's a special day to honor a legendary civil rights leader.
Tonight, how Middle Tennesseans paid tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King. The news is now.
From your news and information leader. This is News Channel 5 at 6.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Amy Marsalis. Vicki has the night off. In just 6 hours, the state of Tennessee will make history.
At 12:01, the first lottery ticket will be sold in our state.
I'm ready for it to get started, and everything seems to be in place and going smoothly from what I can tell today. And I think an awful lot of Tennesseans are looking forward to buying a lottery ticket, and from my perspective, I'm looking forward to start getting those dollars rolling in for those scholarships for young people across our state.
The state lottery is kicking off 2 months ahead of schedule, and Governor Bredesen says that will more than likely mean about 15 to 20 million